The world feels dusty when we stop to die. It's just a little part of it.
Beautiful. There we go. Let the side go here. There we go. There we go.
Yay.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes, I'm prepared. Oh, it looks so bad.
Yeah,
I figured.
There's your buddy right there.
Yes.
That knot right there.
It's my favorite.
Now, as we wake it up,
Yeah.
you're going to feel it more. Don't be disheartened. It's going to take rounds to...
Don't cry.
So, Aubrey, you told me a flight of stairs you went down. Tell me about that a little bit. How long was it? 5 years ago?
Yes, I was just walking down a flight of stairs in the house. I had done it many, many times because I live upstairs on the top floor, and I guess my foot went out from under me. There's carpet on those stairs, and I just slid down. I landed on my tailbone and slid straight down for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 steps.
And you sought some care for that. They said something was out in your back, but they adjusted you.
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel after that? How did it change?
I got feeling back in my leg immediately when he
Okay.
adjusted, so that was good. I have had kind of some residual discomfort, but I've had other falls as well, so I'm not sure what that's due to.
In the lower back, or the same thing in the leg again?
The leg, no. The leg is fine, but low back for sure. Pain after, I don't know, just maybe having to be on stage for a long time or having to walk a long time, or especially if I have to sit, it's very uncomfortable.
Do you remember where it was numb specifically, or just hard to remember?
Well, I felt a lot of pain right here, and then it went all the way down into my foot. My toes felt like I couldn't lift them up, so it all the way down to the toes.
So we're hitting the sciatic nerve. 5 branches of nerve roots come out that form the sciatic nerve, about as big as your thumb, and then it supplies about 75% of your leg. Everything below the knee is sciatica, back of the thigh, side of the thigh. Many times when you have an injury like that, I believe most of the injury to be the compensation to the injury. So we have an injury where we have the trauma, 4 to 6 weeks later that heals, but then what happens, partly can happen, is that your body just goes into a different position to avoid.
Yeah.
Sort of like an alignment of your tire on your car. You hit a curb, and now you drive on a bad alignment, and that causes another problem.
Yeah.
We know where the spine should be, so the disparity between where you want to be and where your spine is supposed to be determines how your spine ages. You have also some neck pain. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I'm an opera singer, so a lot of what I have to do is straightening this to create some space for the larynx to move, and I noticed that my traps are so tense afterward, and if I have to sit and play the piano for any amount of time, I teach lessons as well, and that's just, I just feel so much pain and burning and tension back there. I feel like I can't shake it out after a while.
So we have, your head's about 2 inches or so forward. The upper back is, we call it the counter coup, or the counter movement. So as your head goes forward, your upper back starts to hunch it's mainly because the discs on the front get compressed, and as the discs become compressed, the nerves get squeezed, and so then the holes have to open up, which makes your head go forward. The tension is postural. So the more forward your head goes, the tighter your muscles have to be to hold your head on.
Right.
And in order to change it, it's sort of like orthodontistry. We have to stretch the spine in the opposite way. Now, the joints in your spine have a lot of feeling. These knuckles back here can be very tender and swollen, and a lot of the soft tissue work that I do is to make the joints less inflamed, so that they can overlap. So we actually can stretch the front part of the body. So you're going to see me compressing this a lot, seeing if we can pressure that in, and then we have to actually stretch the sternum, the sternocostal joints, the whole front part of your chest has to open up. All right, you're fine, there we go. Hips are not too unlevel.
Wonderful.
Yeah, a little bit left high, but you have you on your back for me.
Okay.
Have you cross this arm over. Take one deep breath in for me. Help me sit up. And then let your head go back. Let all the air out. Here we go. Exhale. Here we go. Let a deep breath in. Head back for me. Let it all go. There we go. Let it go. Yeah, a little tighten there. Deep breath in. It's okay. Head back. There we go. Yeah, it's okay. Doing good. So this is the distance the bones are from where they're supposed to be makes that adjustment difficult.
Right.
I think of the joint like a handshake. They're supposed to be fully overlapped because there's a lot of strength there. The more forward your head goes and the more of the hump, this all expands open, which creates fluid in a pocket for swelling and inflammation to build up. That's what you're seeing on your upper back. And so as I'm adjusting you, I'm trying to close that joint to get the weight back on the joints in your spine which takes it off the disc on the front. Deep breath in for me. Look over this shoulder as best you can. Exhale. You're fine, you're fine. Exhale. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other side for me. Good, other side. Exhale. Mm-hmm. All right, face up for me. Yep. Mm-hmm. Face up. Your body's trying to find a comfortable position. So it's sort of like, ow, ow, ow. You understand? And your body just keeps going forward in avoidance. That avoidance just keeps growing. I'm so sorry that nobody, you would have been able to see the inklings of it in your teenage years,
Right.
but there should have been things that would have been taught to you to prevent your posture from shifting forward. The tension, even the ability for your lower back to get injured as severely as was injured when you did fall, is based on the alignment that you were in before you fell.
Prior.
We already know where the spine ages prematurely, which is the lower back and lower neck. We do things proactively to prevent them from further injury by getting the parts of the spine that are stiff moving and by trying to aim the patient into the right alignment. I got you. There you go. Wonderful.
Oh my God.
Try to do it to myself. Probably not good for you, but I feel like I need it.
I got your head. I promise. There we go. Let this side go here. There you go. There we go.
Yay!
I think that might be the nicest neck crack I've ever had.
It felt good. I think so much of what I do gets me out of whack too. The singing itself causes a lot of the trouble. So
So your posture is simply a distillation of where you are the most amount of time. That's where your body will want to reside. And so some people might say to me, well, Ed, I have to sit 8 hours a day in mild flexion. How can 20 minutes of bending back have any hope of or chance of undoing it, if that makes sense? So the answer is because I'm going to ask you to bend back as far as you can in a way,
Right.
extreme extension. I'm going to ask you to bend back to the limits of what you can handle, and hopefully when you're sitting, you're not bending forward to the limits of what you can bend forward. So if you were, and I had a lady who takes phone calls for a living, and she
gosh.
tells me that she sits with her knee up on her chest, right? In a manner where she's
definitely
as deep,
stretch you out in the back.
right? She's as deeply
Yeah.
flexed forward as possible, and I'm going, then just there's not much chance for much of this to have any benefit to you.
Right.
We have to remove all of that forward stretching and implement back stretching.
I wonder what that would do for breathing. I feel like it would help
Oh
so
my gosh,
much.
immensely. It's hard to take a deep breath in when your head's forward.
Yeah.
Your
When they
posture-
talk so much about it too, it's like they don't give us any way to make it happen. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I'm writing a research paper on this right now, actually, for my master's degree, and there's nothing in the literature about how to make the posture happen. They talk about how great it is, and
Right.
this is going to fix all your problems, but they don't give you any
Right.
strategies. It's
Right.
very strange.
There's no guide. Well, there are guides, but there's not many guides available.
Well,
The
certainly
guides-
not in singing pedagogy,
Right,
I can tell you.
See, you can't just take somebody's spine that's bent forward and give them the stretches to bend back, because what'll happen is you'll just bend in the
Where you
areas-
already been.
Very good, you got it. So you end up hurting people.
Right.
You end up further aggravating. Feel this clicking in here? And
Oh, yeah.
All that is.
I knew that was
inflammation-
going to be fun for you.
Inflammation buildup. Oh, that's all got to be sort of squeezed out of here in order to give me space to bring your head back into it. Like a bunch of books on a shelf. Sometimes you can't just move the books. You got to move these books over here, move
Right.
those books over there, and they all have to move as a team. Yeah,
They
it's
both
just-
feel bad to me, but what do I know?
It's okay. Yeah, no, it's the right was more crunchy. I mean, this is tight, but it's. I'm not going to give anybody points here. They're both bad. Everybody's a team. I look at it as a 24-member team. Everybody that's not doing work is responsible for this problem. Everybody's supposed to give their few degrees of motion, and if one joint is doing half and another joint has to do double, it's simply a.
Right.
It's a mathematical, balancing formula, and so there's a certain amount of range of motion your spine should have, and it's supposed to happen evenly throughout all 24 vertebrae. And what we find is that 5 have almost all the work put on them. Your posture goes forward to relieve stress on nerves in your lower neck. So even though there might not be any lower neck or arm symptoms, it's because you're in avoidance of them, right? And so I can't use symptoms as my only way of treating you. I really don't treat symptoms. I treat posture, and I treat the alignment. And when you get the person's spine in the right position, the spine isn't inflamed, the nerves that leave your spinal column can clearly communicate what your brain's trying to tell your body. There isn't any symptoms. And so sometimes people might say, well, your care for a heart problem, your care for a lung problem, your care for a stomach problem will all look the same. It's like, well, right, because they're all involving improving the health of your spine. There we go. Yeah, you're doing good. Just trying to get your neck used to being back here where it belongs and getting the joints to actually not...
They don't want to do
Don't,
that.
right, they... your joints not to hate each other, so they'll...
Right. I knew my head didn't move. I was certain about that.
When did you start singing? At what age?
2, I don't know. She would be able to tell you better than me.
In
She's
utero.
my teacher.
In utero, she was singing.
She's a really good singer, by the way, my mom. Yeah, beautiful,
Wonderful.
good gospel singer.
Wonderful. Do you guys do recordings, or do you just?
We do, mostly actually for my dad. He's a singer-songwriter, so we back him up quite a bit.
Wonderful.
But
Well, we're going to try a little deeper here. We'll start with that side first. Let me have it a little deeper here, see if we can get. I got your head. There you go, a little bit. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Yay.
Let me have this side. There you go. Yeah.
Whoa.
You did
It's
great.
like never moved.
Yeah, you're fine. Just
That way.
try to get this access to this right here.
Oh, I bet I'm gonna look purple.
Oh yeah, it's
when I'm
already
done.
coming out. So the burning has to do with acidity. Lactic acid is an acid, and it burns. The
Right.
muscles build it up as an exhaust.
Right.
So like if you lift weights, your muscles start to burn. That's the cellular exhaust causing, it sits around the nerves and causes that burning. Now the posture makes these muscles work all the time, which
Right.
creates that burning sensation you described earlier.
No
So
bueno.
ultimately we have to get it's all postural pains, and so we're going to, at the end of the visit, after we loosen you all up, we're going to start showing you how to start the process of stretching your body back. There's some pretty dark marks already forming here.
I knew it. I'm very fair too, so I'm sure I'll be able to tell.
You're fine, you're doing good.
What, like cupping does too?
Very similar, yeah,
I
same.
wondered, like I think we saw that in the Olympics.
Yeah.
With Michael
Oh,
Phelps.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? Yeah,
Yeah, and everybody was curious, everybody was talking about it and curious about it.
blood flow, yeah.
So this is similar to that method?
Same category, yeah, just a way of increasing circulation to areas that are stiff. So bringing nutrients in, taking the waste out, speeding up healing, which is really the word replacement. And if you don't have material, your body can't replace or heal anything, right? So you're helping equip the tissue. Like a kitchen, perhaps. You can't build a new kitchen until you get the old kitchen out of there.
True.
Right? Right, so you have to remove the old stuff is as important as putting in good stuff. And that's why the word healing really is a misnomer. It's not the right word. It's the word replacement. Your body doesn't heal, it replaces. Your skin does not heal, it replaces. You have new skin that's made and the old stuff falls off.
Yeah.
That's what really happens.
Yeah.
We call that healing, but it's not really healing. There really is only one tissue that can ever really heal, which is nerves. Outside the central nervous system, they have some capacity for regeneration, but every other tissue in your body just replaces. Red blood cells replace every 90 days, lung cells every 7 to 10 days. Every muscles every 4 to 6 weeks, ligaments every 8 to 10 weeks, tissues replacing it, bones every year and a half. Usually they replace
Amazing.
they replace at different rates. Heart cells, never. Brain cells, never.
Lovely.
Enamel on your teeth, never. Discs, never. Meniscus, never. Right? We don't make new
Well,
meniscus.
it would be like hair. Hair
It's got-
replaces
right,
itself.
like
Yeah.
nails, right? Replaces. Your hair doesn't
You
regenerate.
don't heal it.
Right, your hair doesn't regenerate. Right, you got it. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
those split ends are gonna be there till that hair's gone.
Right.
This split into. I like
Well,
it.
it's a bad thing to say it's degenerated. Oh, your hair's degenerating. It's like, well, no, it's just damaged. It's
Yeah.
just, if you cook something, it becomes, if you cook a piece of bacon, it becomes hard and crispy. You don't call it degenerated bacon, you just call it cooked bacon.
I think we
Right.
should start saying it that
But
way.
you could,
I was like, some
somebody could say desiccated, diseased bacon.
Oh, boy.
It's like, well, no, you just heat it up to 400 degrees, and that's what it looks like when you...
You might have trouble selling that.
That's the best example of like.
So it almost looks like bacon. You know, it was soft and
That's probably what Dad looks like.
Yeah.
becomes like hard. And,
That's pretty much what happened to him. Actually, he had really invasive back surgery. I don't know how long ago that was. How long was it?
Well, his was
2009?
the bone degenerating too. He has that.
Yeah, they said he should not be walking, but they cleaned it out. But now, of course, his
Well, the bone-
adjacent joints are probably going to need it.
you got it. Well, the
Afterward.
bone doesn't degenerate, it just grows.
Yeah.
It grows bigger because of stress.
Yeah,
If
and
you-
who knows why
Yeah.
he ended up that way. There's
Like a
probably lots
muscle.
of
If you
reasons.
work a muscle out a lot, the muscle grows.
Right.
If you make a joint bend a lot, the joint will grow. Now it hits nerves, which then
Fascinating.
makes it bad.
Right.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's what happened to him. He had
Yeah.
drop foot in both
Right.
feet.
Yeah. Well, he waited a long time to go
Yeah.
and have anything done about it either. I feel so bad for him.
It caused a lot of inflammation here.
Yeah,
We're gonna get all that out of there, but we got to get all that compressed. Pretty simple test you can do is just push your head forward and try to take a deep breath in,
Doesn't feel great.
right? And then try to hold your body upright and take a deep breath in. And
Much better.
it's a lot easier to breathe. Breathing, how important is breathing? Kind of vital. So
Yes.
the more forward our forward head carriage goes, the more difficult it is to breathe. Also, even bringing your arms up. If you push your head forward and try to bring your arms up,
Harder to do. Yeah.
that's about as far as I can lift my arms with my head forward. You have to, you have to lift your arms. You have to have your head
I
back.
get that. Yeah.
So my shoulder range of motion, I can't. My shoulders are all impinged, right? Because your head's forward.
This is probably how I would stand for the just range of motion of the larynx.
Right.
This you cannot do because
Sure.
it keeps it in place. So
Sure.
you have to look down, kind of
Right.
almost, and it feels like looking forward,
Right.
but it's not really.
Chin's tucked.
Yeah. Maybe I could sing a little Aaron Copland. Aaron Copland.
Sure, go.
Okay. The world feels dusty when we stop to die. It's just a little part of it. Yeah, it's
Ooh,
pretty
that
beautiful.
is
Yeah, but
sweet.
that's probably how I'd stand for that.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Some
I'm
high
not doing-
notes.
Oh, no.
Every time you tuck your chin, it's putting pressure on the discs.
Yeah.
The main message that we have to first achieve is getting your whole spine working, and then trying to help get your ear over your shoulder so that not so much stress is on the discs continually, so that they.
Right.
And we don't have any MRI of your neck, so it's hard for me
Who
to.
knows?
And one of the things I've done always with my singers is to go up above the head and then come down, and this is the position you should be in
Right.
to get the best height in the rib cage and whatever. Is that good or not good? I mean, as a teacher of singing, what?
Yeah. So you're limited to what your joints are going to be willing to give out. So if the joints are all swollen in your spine, you can't get into the right position.
Right.
It's not under your conscious control. Now that's good to help aim people to the back limit of where they can be.
Right.
You definitely don't want to be on the forward limit of where you want to be.
Right,
You want to be on the
right.
back limit, which is what you're encouraging, which is good. But when the backside gets so swollen, it's like the whole room is filled with water. You can't actually get into that area.
Right.
It all has to be squeezed out, stretched out in essence. And in order to even achieve that, we have to make sure the whole spine works evenly, because there's a danger that if you just take somebody and bend them back, they're going to bend in just small pockets.
Right.
And then they end up getting hurt, and yoga hurt me, or that stretch hurt me. We have to first wake up the whole spine, which is what you're going to see me do in a second.
Okay, cool.
When you tuck your chin, it simply moves on a volunteer basis. The loosest areas move the most, the stiffest ones move the least. So the alignment determines which vertebrae are the loosest, and then when you move, those are the ones that take all the stresses. So let's go to a candle analogy. If you burn a candle twice as bright, it burns half as long, right? So that's what's happening with the discs in the spine. Some of them are aging at a very quick rate. The nerves start getting pressured. Many times your body will just keep shifting the weight in what we call antalgia or an avoidance. And by nature, if we undo antalgia, we're going to cause some discomfort because we're taking you back into the places that you're avoiding. which by nature are filled with monsters now. And so this isn't a very friendly proposition that I'm bringing up. Well, let's undo your avoidance. Well, Ed, I don't know. There's monsters in there. My new analogy is like if you and I walked up into an attic and you told me you wanted all the boxes removed from this attic, and right when we got to the top of the stairs, we saw a bunch of spiders like scurry off and hide in the midst of all the boxes. But there's spiders in there, and one of them might bite me as I try to move the boxes. Yeah, good luck with that, Ed. I'll see you later. Right? So I'm going to uncover things. You understand? As we move the boxes, and I move the first box and there's no spiders. Well, maybe they're all gone. No. They're hiding somewhere behind those other 30 boxes, right? And then I go to grab a box and, I just got bit, right? And so, well, maybe you should have been more careful, Ed. There's monsters in here. And this is why a lot of practitioners don't want to do it. It has the potential to not be very friendly. I'm supposed to be your friend. I'm supposed to be your buddy. And is your orthodontist your buddy? I never liked the guy. He never was a friend of mine. I mean, he put me through pain for 2 years, and my mom kept paying him money. And he said that if I didn't have the teeth in the position that he wanted them to be, that it was going to cause all these different myriad of problems. He never said that he believed it. He never said, I think this was what will happen by 30. He said, I know that if you keep this alignment, your overbite's going to cause your bottom teeth to be worn down by 30. The alignment determined how quickly they were going to age. He said the alignment causes accelerated aging. That's what's happening to the spine. I know it's sore.
Yes.
Have to. All right. We got to compress all of this down. All right. There we go. There you go. You're doing great. You're doing great. If I remember going too hard, please let me know, okay? Ed, back off. I'm going to try to. My goal is to ride the wave or ride the edge of what you can, tolerate and handle. But I don't need to overwhelm you. Okay. It's about getting to the edge and then backing off a little bit is probably a better way to talk about it too. And then that edge will move. The limit of what you can handle will move as we progress. And what is difficult the first visit is now not so difficult the fifth time, but it might feel the same because you keep on riding that same edge. So the difficulty feels the same, but your posture is changing. Okay. Yeah. And then I can't assume that anything I say or do has any foundation. Like, oh yeah, Ed, people have been rubbing my back like this for years, and I'm one of many doctors that have.
No, nobody's done this for me, I can tell you that.
Nobody does anything. Nobody touches anybody anymore. We live in a very across-the-room doctoring.
I've even never had a massage, so this has not been done.
Right there, yeah. Oh, man. That's a pretty good knot right there on her left side. Feel the difference? It's not as much over here than on her left. Pretty interesting knot right there. That's almost large enough we can name him.
Bet you could think of some people out there.
Oh, here we go.
Roommates. It would be roommates.
Oh, there we go. Roommates.
College roommates.
College roommates. Okay.
I have a few right now that are interesting.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, that's a pretty good knot. So T12 is where your diaphragm attaches, thoracic 12, and this is going to affect your ability to take a really deep inhalation. This all has to move in here. So if you can't expand your rib cage because of all these knots in your middle lower back, then your ability to, so your lungs can only inflate as much as your joints can move. If your joints don't move, then you can't inflate your lungs in the same way.
Right. That's what I've been telling my students.
Yeah, right there. That's what we got to work that knot out of there.
My other chiropractor did tell me I was as stiff as a 2x4. That's what
Okay,
he said the moment I walked in. I'm like,
I can agree with that.
Thank you for that.
Thanks. Right.
He was very colorful. You have to use your whole body to sing.
Yeah.
If one part doesn't work, it doesn't, you can't do my job. Especially not at the level that opera singers have to do it. It's very high pressure.
No, you were amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So
Yeah, it's not as much coming out of the right. Yeah, I like when you rub the right side of my back. It's not so bad. And then this huge.
Feels not quite as bad, but.
This knot here on your left.
Makes you wonder what I don't know, what I did. I don't know, it's a mystery.
You see it? This side's all low here.
Oh, wow.
And then right here.
Yeah.
As I work on you, everything sort of, all the small stains go away, and then we're just left with the darkest, oldest stains.
Oh, God,
The
yeah.
oldest injuries are what remains
Makes you
after.
wondered what happened to me, I don't
And then
know.
this becomes, it actually becoming more apparent because everything else is kind of going away and dissipating, and then all that's left is that. And,
Oh, man.
that's a big piece to why you're going to have leg symptoms, is if this area doesn't function, your lower back's having to do extra. When you fell, you pretty much had leg symptoms right away, or was it a little while after?
The numbness didn't happen immediately.
Mhm.
It happened afterward. I would periodically have times where the low back pain was so bad that I just couldn't function. But the numbness didn't start to happen until much later.
Right. So that would go in line with the fall causing this to get tight, and then then the compensatory numbness happened because the injury tightened this part of your back.
Overworking.
You know, if it hurt, if it went numb right like the day after, it probably was, this was already here, and then
Right.
the injury just further whacked this. But if it takes some time, that sounds more compensatory. Those symptoms were compensatory pains versus,
Right.
you know, results directly.
Just get up and walk it off, right?
Oh, jeez. Walk it off, kid.
Don't do anything about it. I did have one tailbone again on some ice, actually went straight down, and they thought I had fractured it, but they wouldn't diagnose it.
When was this?
This was 3 or 4 years ago?
Okay.
3 or 4 years ago?
You fell on the ice skating rink, or?
No, just outside, because
Just also
Missouri just has ice storms,
Oh.
not snow, so it's real bad in the winter.
Okay, and
Yeah.
just came down on did you get your hand down, or did you pretty much went around your bottom?
Right down on the bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was a good day.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that was probably not good to do on top of the other, but
Oh.
what can you do?
Que sera, sera.
Right.
You know, right.
No, but I did feel her shoulders, and
Ooh.
I've
they've
never
never
felt
been
them
that as hard as
squishy.
rocks.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes, I'm prepared. Oh, it looks so bad.
Yeah,
I
that's
figured.
There's your buddy right there. That
Yes.
knot right there.
It's my favorite.
Now, as we wake it up,
Yeah.
you're going to feel it more. Don't be disheartened. It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to take rounds to.
Don't cry.
Your back face down for me. Okay. That feels lovely, Ed. Nerves have to travel through here. And so if the tissue's sore, then that's another component that aggravates the nerve and makes it so easily agitatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. The mobility of this joint is what washes the tissue, so it's like a self-cleaning joint based on mobility.
Right.
So when we have injuries like falls, the joint locks up, the tissue surrounding the joint then just becomes inflamed.
Right.
Very good. Hold on. Right there, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
A bigger knot
Bad.
here on this side. Good. even as you're stretching, the side that's higher gets more pressure. So you might feel like you're crooked on it, but it's because your back is unlevel. And as your back levels out, you know.
Man. That's a pretty sharp pain right there. Yeah.
You're doing great. That's my least favorite.
Yeah, everybody says that one's the worst one.
There we go. Okay, I'm not gonna take them off. I promise. I'll let you leave them. Yeah, a little jammed. Ooh.
I'm sure they are. Probably from dancing on stage a lot. Heels and things.
I got you.
Terrible for
The
you.
more weight that you put on your toes, the more jam they get.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
All right. Try to unglue them a little bit. There we go.
Oh. One.
One is the loneliest number. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see the joints. I got you.
Many knee injuries as well over the years, so I'm sure those
Any
feel great.
any knee pain right now?
Well, only here because I whacked it like yesterday.
On the kneecap?
Yeah, on the edge right here.
Uh-huh.
I scraped the skin.
Okay. How about is your pain usually in here?
Yeah, it's a little tender when you press on it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the meniscus is the most valuable structure in your knee. The tighter the quad gets, the more it vice grips the knee. So
Right.
keeping this area flexible and non-tender is vital for the health of the meniscus. There's really only one range of motion your knee does.
I don't know why that tickles, but it does. Ooh.
Yeah, go ahead and come up for me. Let me show you. There you go. You okay? Not too difficult?
Yeah, this one feels fine.
All right, try the other one. Let me see how that goes.
Let's see if it
Compare it.
feels better. I don't know. Since I just whacked it, maybe it doesn't like it. That one feels like a little more stretch in there, but
So that's the
doesn't
first.
really hurt.
Good. The second phase would be then you take your foot. Let's do it like this. The toes are on the table, and then you're coming down inside of the heel.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Oh. It's harder.
Right. You want to come up, and then just try to come down. Your bottom is inside of the heel. Try the other knee. So
Yeah.
about a set of 10 times. You want to work
Yeah.
to stretch that quad. Really, the meniscus health is vital based on that range of
Just to
motion.
use it, yeah.
So,
Great.
all right, I got you. Keep your head straight forward. I
Sorry.
got you. I'm gonna grip. Go. All right, go ahead and tilt your head to the left for me. That's okay. Right. I think you might have already been going at him already.
I haven't done it today, but
Tilt your head left. Okay. Well, look.
look
You're
at that.
already
Maybe
got
I'm
it.
okay. I don't
You're
know.
doing it.
I'm impressed. Usually it'll go. All right, go ahead and tilt your head right. Yeah. No, she's
I
got it.
must have done it.
All right, tilt your head right for me. Yep.
Darn, sorry.
All right. So the first goal is to get to 20 minutes. The table work is simply a tool to help make your spine supple enough so that we can do this. If your back is so stiff, you can't actually stretch the front part of your body. I'm going to test you out a little bit, see if I can let your head go back. Come on. Is that too difficult? You okay?
Not for the head, maybe for the arms, but
If I put the arms to the side.
yeah.
Yeah, we probably should work on these shoulders a little bit.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I'm sure I've got some stuff going on up there too. From conducting. A lot of that.
Just gonna feel this from
Yeah.
the shoulder here. If your neck starts to bother you too much, let me know. I can put
Okay.
it. We're trying to go to the edge, and I don't need to overwhelm you, but
Honestly, I like it. It feels pretty good, but
that's it. The whole point is what'll happen is when the farther you get between visits or care, this becomes something you can't handle. You know. And Ed, it wasn't so difficult in the day you worked on me, but then a week later I had a lot of difficulty after sitting in a car for 8 hours. My body didn't want to bend back at all, and
right.
there you go.
Yeah, that's
to stretch the whole front part of your shoulder.
Oh, Lord. I knew that was going to be bad, too. I'm just a mess.
All right in there.
Just a mess.
It's okay, you were.
We're all a mess. There's
True,
no one,
true.
there's not one that's
True.
exempt. Everyone's got, I used to believe that certain people didn't have any problems. And
That's,
no,
yeah.
everybody's got problems. No one's exempt. I got my own problems. It's just whether or not you address them or not.
Mhm.
Having a problem isn't the issue. It's like when I'm teaching my kids, you know, they don't want to make a mistake. It's like, that's part of life, is making mistakes and then learning from them.
Very true.
You know, if you're afraid to make a mistake, then you'll never, gee whiz, we just never do anything. It's what we call mirror image stretching. So we go to the opposite of where you're used to being and we hold you there.
Mhm.
And it takes about 20 minutes for your body to lock in that new position. And so that's not to say that 5 minutes isn't beneficial, but the goal has to become 20 minutes. And I believe the first checkpoint is 20 20-minute sessions. So doing this 20 times for 20 minutes, and that's when you'll see something like, I don't know, at least 50% improvement. So if your head's 2 inches forward, you'll be 1 inch forward after 20 20-minute times on really a den roll. The roller is something I use to springboard to a den roll,
Right.
but even with the roller, there's benefit in getting used to getting to that edge. Where it's the most difficult is also where the most benefit can be achieved. You know, so you want to try to, sometimes I'll scan my back, find the most difficult position, and then stay on that for, and then that'll change as you make that spot easier. Another guy will become the, like whack-a-mole. You hit that guy, and this guy pops up, and you know, different vertebrae will change to where the worst one is.
Watches all your videos.
Oh,
I do,
you're
I
so
do.
good. Very good.
Love it.